Welcome to day 23 of the course in Mastery. Today, Tom Wood is going to talk about the incredible skill that we are all bound to encounter at some point in our lives of speaking in public. Then we'll hear from comedian, talk show host, and professional speaker Ross Shafer. Here's Tom.
Thanks, Carl. No matter who you are, eventually you're going to have to speak to a group of people. It may be at a meeting, a sales meeting, or a funeral. Either way, you're going to have to step up to the plate and create a message that matters. I've been speaking in public professionally for over 20 years, and I've learned a few things. What I'm going to do in the next 5 minutes is give you 8 hours of material, whittled down to the most important things you need to understand when you're speaking in public. There are really just 2 things you have to worry about when speaking in public. Number 1 is content. Number 2 is style. Content is content. It's what you're speaking about. You got to know what you're talking about. More important than anything is how well do you know your subject. Now, style is a little more complicated. Style is how you present your content. It's not just the way you talk or the words you choose, it's your body language, your facial expressions, your pitch and your change of tone, and the pauses you use. Those things in style really make a speaker entertaining and powerful in what they do. Now, I've learned a couple of secrets. In content, here's a secret for content. What you want to do is make a list of all the points you want to make in your presentation. Each presentational point needs to be backed up with some kind of story, example, metaphor, fact, or quote. The more of those you have, the more powerful and believable your point. Now, the second thing you want to do is focus on style. Style takes time, and the only way you can really improve your style is if you tape yourself. Number 1 most important thing, tape yourself and see what your style is. When I started, I was not a good speaker. I'm telling you, if I could let you hear some of the tapes of me speaking, you would be as embarrassed as I am. I was horrible. And what I did was I audio taped every single presentation I did. And I gave 3 presentations a day. I did as many presentations as I possibly could and audio taped every one. In between each presentation, I listened to what I did and how I said it. Now, it was tough at first. I mean tough, because you're hearing yourself and thinking, wow, I'm not really that good. But what you can do is pick out 1 or 2 things every time and just improve that for the next time you speak. Now, the second thing you can do to improve your style is to watch other speakers. One of the incredible benefits you have here at Mastery TV is that you get access to the world's greatest speakers. Find the speakers you like and watch them over and over. Look at the style. That was the one thing I did. I liked their content, but I already knew my content. I knew what I was going to say. So I watched speakers as much for how they said what they said. And I practiced doing what they did and then making it my own. One of the most important things you can do as a speaker is come from a place of integrity. Speak what you know and tell your stories. Master your content and master your style, and you're on your way to becoming an excellent public speaker. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Tom. Ross Shafer has been on stage and on screen since the early 1980s, and due to his mastery of the subject, is an executive public speaking coach. I think you'll find what he has to say useful.
Let's talk briefly about the whole process of this fear of public speaking. Now, some of you are not afraid. Some of you can get up today and talk in front of people. Others are afraid of the fear. So I'll give you some techniques about that. It's too bad that when we were in kindergarten, we could easily raise our hand, that we can't do that today. But from what happens between kindergarten and high school to college to life is that our friends become judgmental. And you know children, little children will make fun of other little children. It's just the way kids are. But that imprint on us at a young age lasts a lifetime. When in fact, that's not the way it is now. this fear of public speaking, if I were to ask any of you to stand up here in front of, what you're thinking is, I may fail. I'm going to have performance anxiety. If I get up here, I'm going to stumble through my words. I'm going to embarrass myself in front of these people. These are strangers. So when it becomes peers, it is much worse. But I am here to tell you that that fear is not based in reality. It is something we have concocted on our own. If you stand up in front of a group of people, number one, they want you to succeed. They want you to teach them something, enrich their lives. They want you to show them something, tell them something they haven't heard before that will help them. They don't want you to fail. They're not sitting, Larry's not sitting there, boy, I hope that Ross Schaefer fails. I just paid this money, I hope he's a bomb. You're not thinking that way. You're hoping that I'm going to be able to tell you something that will make more money for you, frankly, tomorrow, or the next day, or the next month. I will tell you something else, and that is that the audience appreciates your position. They know you're uncomfortable. They're uncomfortable. They are glad they're not up there. But you are up there. Try not to think of them wanting you to fail. They don't. But you do feel anxiety. You do feel nervous. You have butterflies. You can't concentrate. And that's all very natural. Johnny Carson, on his 25th year on television, was hooked up to a heart monitor for other problems, not related to anything, but just getting his blood pressure checked and his heartbeat checked. And he's in fine condition. He's a fit man. His resting heart rate is around 55, 60 beats a minute. 15 seconds before his curtain opened, his heartbeat went to 160 beats a minute. Johnny Carson, who has been through that curtain for 25 years, every single night of his television career. And his heartbeat raises to 160. It is very natural, and in my opinion, it is very good. I think we need to have that heightened sense of awareness, because the audience doesn't feel that pressure. We do. I think that that raises us up to performance level. So I'm asking you to welcome that feeling. When you feel that, just know you're normal. Think of yourself as Johnny Carson. Joan Rivers told me that every time she goes out, whether it's a stand-up performance, whether it's a television show, she places in her mind this notion that she is going to battle. Not that she hates you people, not that she hates anybody, but she feels like she's going to battle. And then she returns victorious. She knows she will return victorious. But every time she does, it gives her just a little more confidence. I want to do something right now that's, it's going to feel a little bit scary to you. But all I want to know is just raise your hand if you would mind just standing up and saying your name. Anybody have a problem with standing up to say your name? Here's why. You know your name. Most people are comfortable with their name because it's familiarity that scares us about speaking. But everything is unknown. We don't know what's going to happen. But you know your own name. You're not nervous when you go home and talk to your family or you eat dinner. You're not nervous when you go to the relatives for Thanksgiving. Would you, Anthony, would you just stand up and say your name, say thank you for listening. And first of all, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, I'm going to give you a little introduction. I'm going to say, here is Anthony Garcia. We're going to applaud. You're going to stand up. You're going to just look around the room here and say, my name is Anthony Garcia. Thank you for listening, and sit down. That's all I want you to do. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Garcia.
My name is Anthony Garcia. Thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to do it with somebody that doesn't want to stand up, probably. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Alan Lawson. Alan? Are applauding him?
Thank you for listening.
All right. I'm going to do one more. How about Larry Lapointe? Larry, would you please stand up, Larry? All right.
Larry Lapointe, thank you for listening.
All right. Now, here's what I want to ask you people. Alan, how did it feel when I said I might pick you? I don't have to stand next to you. Go ahead, if you could stand up for just a second. How did it feel? Did you have a rush go through you?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
And did you feel like, I don't know if I can spit out my own name?
It's an apprehension, yeah.
There was an apprehension.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know something? We did not see it, did we? Did any of us see that? How about you? Well, you can go ahead and sit down. How about you, Larry? Did you have that feeling? You had that feeling. Did you feel like, what if my voice cracks? What if I get shaky here? You didn't have that feeling. How about you, Anthony? Do you have any feeling of, you had that feeling? We cannot see it. It's inside here. We feel volcanic in here. But the audience doesn't perceive that. Anxiety is invisible most of the time. And if you can understand that, they can't see it, don't apologize for it. That's the first thing people do. They come up to the podium like, God, I am not a very good speaker. I don't do this very much. You don't have to say that. If you're not a good speaker, it'll become apparent in 15 minutes. But you don't need to set up the audience with that. Don't worry about it so much.
Tomorrow, we'll talk about the only way to truly build wealth no matter where you find yourself in life. See you tomorrow.